Welcome back to Bleav in Softball. I'm your host, Jenna, and however you got here today, whether it was an audio podcast platform like Apple, Spotify, or anything else, or watching on YouTube, thank you. Subscribe and rate the show wherever you get your pods. If you haven't yet, you can always follow us on Instagram and Twitter/X at Bleav in Softball. That's BLEAV. And of course, merch. Click the link in our bio on either of those pages or go to shop.bleav.com to purchase 3 different shirts covering our bases, safer out, and catch you soon. All right, let's go through today's batting order. First, we will cover our bases. I'll share some call-outs from the softball world. Then we'll head into today's interview with Amanda Lorenz. Some of you might have picked up on some subtle hints in some recent episodes, but after we did the D1 podcast all spring together, we finally got together here. So I'm really excited for you to hear it. Then we'll end things with the foul tip of the week, where we share tips to help us get better. All right, let's go. Covering our bases. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. From the preseason NFL to college kicking off, BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. Think you know your stuff? Get in on our winner-take-all $300,000 NFL Survivor pool for the upcoming season. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or you can unwind with one of our 150 slots games. Head to the website today and use promo code BLEAV, that's BLEAV, and get in on the action. BetOnline, the game starts here. And as usual, so does the gear. It's still summer in my book, and technically it is on the calendar too, by the way. The first official day of fall isn't until after September 21st. But fall sports are already underway. Rip It has a lot of stuff. Everything from footwear, like my Ringer Turfs I talk about all the time, to apparel and gear, like my backpack that I'm actually starting to use even more. Rip It Sports Backpack has been a game changer for me. Accessories, just everything that you could need to play and to practice. They have gear for other sports too, like volleyball and soccer. And I'm really excited to cover those sports, for example, this fall while we're waiting for softball season to come back. And, they're ready to gear us up in the meantime as well. Also clothes for any athlete, like any type of training. There's tops, shorts, leggings, sports bras, all the things that you'd need there too. So the best part though, like I always say, is their mission: to elevate the female athletic performance. They know that women and girls deserve gear specifically tailored to our needs. Quality fit, elite performance, and just unique to us. So the best news is that Rip It is offering an exclusive 15% discount. Just use the code Jenna15 when you shop at ripit.com. That's JENNA 15. Experience the same quality gear that helps so many ladies excel. And at the pro level, all they do is excel. A huge shout out, first of all, to Texas Smoke, the back-to-back WPF champions. Congrats to the owners, Brandon Phillips and Jade Cargill, and the whole organization for bringing it back to Austin once again. And the players, of course, first and foremost, especially our girls, Jayla Wright and Morgan Howe, who have been on the show before. Jayla, also known as Slayla, just this summer here in season 5, and then Morgan way back in season 1. Love to see them doing their thing out there, and just huge, huge, huge congrats. And the Coastal Bend Tidal Wave, by the way this went down, they fought their way to the championship series to go up against the Smoke. Game 1 included a nice little Autumn Peace no-hitter, Savannah Jakewish home run, just among other things. The 8-0 run rule. They took game 2, 13-4 in the champ series, and that's what got it done for the Smoke. I want to say, too, what's really impressive is that in terms of players who are part of both championships, last year and this year's, we're in the double digits if we count them all up. Morgan Howe, as mentioned, Sam Shaw, Janae Jefferson, Savannah Jakewish, Autumn Peace, Charla Eccles, Jordan Dale, Maddie Grimm, who I just love the fact that they call her Grim Reaper, by the way, amazing. Marta Gasparado, Elizabeth Mason, it's just impressive because winning is hard, let alone repeating. And we talk about that a lot with OU at the college level. Well, this is the pro level too, and they were able to get it done. A personal highlight for me too was seeing Maddie Grimm holding the heavy hitter belt. It's literally a WWE style belt made for the WPF. And it's just the crossover we never knew we needed before WWE superstar Jade Cargill got involved with the Smoke and the WPF as an owner. So I just, love to see it. A few of my favorite things. But then also a favorite thing of mine this time of year is Athletes Unlimited, the final week of the championship season. Today's guest is at the top of the leaderboard. So proud of Amanda Lorenz. She's been a captain since week 2, and she's been number 1 for weeks now. She's actually the only captain in this last week that's not a pitcher, because other than her, it's Georgina Korick, Alicia Ocasio, and Lexi Kilfoyle as the other captains for this last ride this weekend. And, I didn't realize until AU started sharing some of these insights. Historically, the gold team captain in week 3 becomes the champion. That has happened every year of the championship series. So Kat Osterman, Alicia Ocasio, Deja Molipola, and Odyssey Alexander, all examples of people who reached the top spot in week 3 and then held it all the way through for the rest of the season. There's a lot of history on the line with this too, because obviously the ones who are in the best position to potentially win this thing are the captains. They're at the top of the leaderboard. So for Amanda, if she were to pull it off, she'd be the first outfielder to ever win Athletes Unlimited championship season. The only other position player to do it was actually Deja Molipola. Otherwise, a lot of pitchers that we've seen, because especially if they hit, they get a lot of opportunities to gain those points. But Alicia Ocasio would be the first ever repeat champion if she could pull it out here in this final week. Georgina Korick would be going from being a first-time captain all the way to potentially winning or medaling in Athletes Unlimited. That's impressive. And then Lexi Kilfoyle, a true rookie who's coming straight out of college with an opportunity here going down to the end. So we know that there's so much that goes into it. We're going to get some insight, plenty of insight when we talk to Amanda today too. So we'll talk more about this. But I also want to give a shout out to some of the Bleavers who are retiring. Gwen Svekis just announced that she's going to be doing that. She's going to hang up her cleats, and it's been such a great, just amazing career for the catcher. And Sasha Palacios, another catcher who had already told us that this was her last season. Sam Fisher, another one who's been on the show, who I played travel ball with when I was 10. I just want to say good luck to all of them in their last weekend playing pro softball. I wish only good things and for them to enjoy every second. And in the meantime, it is the fall. As much as I'm still holding on to summer as long as possible, when college is starting to come around already, it's already back to school. The semester schools are welcoming their students on campus and getting ready to start practice. It means some of those big time transfers that we heard about in the offseason, remember them? They're actually setting foot on campus right now. So like Nigel Kennedy, she's at Texas Tech. Ruby Malin going to Oklahoma State. Along with a lot of the top recruits who are coming in as freshmen too. So it's us getting used to seeing these players maybe in new colors, and even coaches as well in new places. But all the girlies who are on the quarter system, like I was in college, they still have a few more weeks of summer to bask in. Or more likely, honestly, they're just getting ready for the conditioning tests they'll have when they get back on campus. But I remember loving the quarter system in September when you start school late compared to everyone else, and absolutely hating it in the spring when you're still dealing with finals week in school during the postseason when the semester school girls are all just getting to play softball. But, pros and cons like anything else. But don't forget that D1 softball also has great fall reports that they put out. They'll give updates on a bunch of programs ahead of the 2025 season. I always love getting into these and digging in beforehand, so just keep an eye out on those as well. And to bring it home, I mentioned last week my first broadcast of the new school year this past weekend was covering Stanford women's soccer. I didn't realize until I got there that it was the first Stanford athletics broadcast with the ACC. First one of the new era. We were on ACC Network Extra, and it was just an honor to do the honors. And it helps also when it's the number 2 team in the nation's home opener. Thank you, Stanford's women's soccer, for making that easy. And they now have 36 straight undefeated home openers dating back to 1989. By the way, that's before I was born. Just incredible. Now I have Stanford men's soccer next this Sunday, August 25th at 4 p.m. Pacific. So stay tuned for more this fall as well, including some field hockey and lots of women's volleyball coming up. I am so excited because, as our favorite t-shirt says, everyone watches women's sports. Someone who owns that shirt, actually, and that vibe is today's guest. So let's head into the interview. She is an Athletes Unlimited captain, Team USA veteran, four-time All-American outfielder at Florida, my co-host on the D1 softball podcast, fellow 805 native, and an amazing ambassador of the game, Amanda Lorenz, aka Mandy Softball. Finally, we're doing this. I'm so excited.
Hi, Jenna. Thank you for having me. Finally. Can't believe it's taken this long.
I know. It's like we've done how many podcasts together, but this now finally we're actually doing this one on this platform.
Yes.
But before we hopped on, I was so happy to see your dog Blue with you in
Yeah. Yeah.
Chicago.
He's here. He's here. Yeah. It's been so nice, like coming and having him here no matter what. It's been brought a lot of joy and able to sleep with my bud every night, which is great.
That's the best, especially when you're away from
Yes.
home, have a little home with you, you know?
Absolutely.
Would you rather be called Mandy Softball or Blue's mom?
Blues mom, for sure.
I love the no hesitation on that too.
Yeah, yeah. I don't love the Mandy softball. I think it's like funny, but it was never something that like I created and wanted for myself. So no,
Yeah.
but Blues mom, like yes,
Yeah. Well,
forever.
perfect. That's then we'll stick with that. Maybe that's the name of the
I
episode.
love
We'll
it.
see. We'll see how
I
it
love
goes.
I love it.
But like I said too before we hopped on, like I'm so happy to kind of talk with you in this forum. We obviously like covered with you on softball like the podcast all year round. We were covering the college scene like all of the
Hmm.
season, but now I get to talk to you as like you're playing your season. But it's been a busy year for you, man. Like going from that to then you're playing with Team USA at the World Cup and then now you're doing Athletes Unlimited, like lots going on. So just how are you doing throughout all of that craziness?
Yeah, doing great. I think just really thankful to keep playing softball, right? Like to call like playing softball and being a softball player as my full-time job is like really, really cool. So just super thankful and loving every second. The summertime is the most fun time of the year.
And I, before I forget, have to bring up today, as we're recording this, literally this day, you have a new signature glove that just dropped.
I
Incredible. Tell me
do.
more.
Thanks. Yeah. I'm super fortunate to be on with Marucci as one of their professional athletes. I think the way that they invest in women and have seen something in me and wanted to create something special with my name on it is just really special. And then just to give me full reign to do whatever I wanted. So the fact that I could have a glove that's like out there and fun, which is like me, I'm super outgoing, but then have a piece of something that means a lot to me with the sunflower and just a tribute to pediatric cancer and raising awareness is just really cool. Like when brands get to know their athletes and really care about them as people and then believe in them to do something as far as making a product with their name on it. Super honored and really thankful and like couldn't be prouder to be repping Marucci at this stage in my career.
I was so happy. I mean, I knew that you were, I think you were talking about it kind of like back in the spring, like putting it together and how exciting it was, but to see it actually come to fruition is like totally next level. So just so happy for you. And I know
Thank
that,
you.
yes, of course. And I know that people who followed you, obviously, since your collegiate career at Florida, very familiar with the sunflower and what it
Mhm.
represents. But, and you mentioned it a little bit, sort of pediatric cancer and like what that cause is. But can you go into more detail about just all the personal touches about the glove? Because I think it's so cool that it really does represent you individually.
Yeah, first of all, like I love pink. Pink's my favorite color. So, and I know that pink's not for everyone, but I definitely wanted some pink on there. And then I just love the way that blue and pink go together. Blue is another one of my favorite colors. So just something fun and then like a little funky having the blue and pink together. And then I have a sunflower on the thumb, which obviously goes back to my time at Florida wearing the sunflower in our hair and just what raising awareness and a tribute to Friends of Jacqueline. And then in the palm of the glove, there's a sunflower stamp. And then there's also my signature is in the glove as well. So just those little things really cool to have little pieces of me in there and like brings me a lot of joy. And I hope that other softballers and baseballers too could see themselves in it and a little bit of joy and funkiness and have fun on the field with it to express themselves.
Yeah. When you see it in the wild for the first time, especially let's say on a little lefty like you, how do you think you would react in that moment?
Yeah, I think like that's gonna be really, really special for me. I think I've dreamed a long time of having my own signature glove. And then also like I feel like all the time growing up, I saw these cool gloves for the infielders, like infielder gloves that got signature gloves, but not a lot for the outies, especially the lefties out there. So really cool to see something like really cool for the lefties. Obviously, it's available both for right-handers and lefties, but the lefties mean a lot to me. So that was like my first question is this is going to be available for left-handers too, right? Like I wanted to make sure because I felt like growing up, a lot of the cool ones were only for the righties.
It's so true. And as a righty, I didn't think much about it because I didn't have to, right? But I love that
Totally.
now. Yeah, we're at a point where people like you in the game like can have that kind of influence to where you
Yeah,
did have to think about it and you're helping the next generation. That's the best part.
so cool.
And I will say I might have worn pink lipstick because I was talking to you because I know you like pink.
Thanks, Jenna.
Um,
I love that touch. It looks beautiful on you.
Thank you so much. But I just interviewed Jenny Finch too, and I was talking to her about how she was kind of the first one to incorporate pink really into like softball
Hmm.
gear and stuff. So then now talking to you, seeing the actual glove, like photos, visuals of it, I was like, you know what? That is so cool because now Amanda can do whatever she wants with it. Not that you couldn't before, but like people like her made it easy to feel like you could, you know?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I think like Jenny Finch made me believe that I could accomplish anything I wanted to. Like I go back to like my first role model in the game was Jenny Finch and the way that she carried herself, the way that she loves our game, the way that she wants, all of us to be able to express ourselves and dream and believe like she said. So really just it comes down to like I always like I remember standing in line for her autograph all the time, like wanting to be just like her. So I had that Mizuno black and pink glove growing up. I thought it was so cool that she was able to put pink on her gloves. So yeah, really cool. When I saw your interview with her, I was like, oh my gosh, so cool. Like I still geek out over her, like thinking she's just the best ever. Yeah.
She is, right? And now I have to ask, so now that Blue has made an appearance for those on video too, if you got another dog, would you name the dog Pink potentially?
I don't know if my husband would be okay with that. But that's a great idea, and I'll keep that in my back pocket, like a little Pinky, like that. Like I could see Pinky being an option, like that is super cute. But I don't know that Griffin would go for that.
Hmm. Always options though. Not never
Men,
bad. Yeah.
yes,
Always a problem, men. No.
totally.
Just kidding, just kidding.
Yeah.
But seriously, I think it's still so great that you have Blue with you there.
Yeah.
Especially like such a special Athletes Unlimited season for you so far. First time being a captain happened for you this season, and you just kept kind of going with it so far. We're heading into the final week, week 5. How has being a captain, though, kind of affected your experience? How has it been different, maybe, than past seasons?
And yeah, it's been way different. I think like when that as we finished that weekend one series thinking that I was going to be a captain, I was like, oh, that gives me a little bit of anxiety. Like I'm nervous. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to allow myself 2 hours to be nervous, to be uneasy about it. And then I'm going to lean in. Like, this is going to make me better. I want to see how good can I be as a captain? Like how is this going to challenge me and make me better? So I was really excited about the challenge. And then each week it's gotten a little bit better of just knowing like, okay, I can handle this. Like I know what to expect. I know how to do this, and learning from the week before. But it's been a lot different being you're in control of the whole season, what your roster looks like, where everyone is playing, what the lineup looks like, everything. You're in charge of all of it. So that's definitely different. It's always in the other captain's hand usually, right? And you can say, hey, I love to hit leadoff, but you put me wherever you think. So but now it's like, no, I'd love to hit leadoff, so I'm going to put myself at leadoff. Like I think that's the best situation for us to win. So it's been a lot different. Definitely have leaned on a lot of people. It hasn't just been me, but it's been fun.
Who do you think you've leaned on the most?
Hannah Flippin, for sure. She's been like, I've said she's my co-captain. I think that she's such an elite softball mind, and um, this is my first time as captain, like this season. So really have leaned on her a lot to help me through things. We think of things the same way, and she can kind of keep me focused when I get like a little overwhelmed and trying to zoom out a little bit too much. She definitely helps me hone in. But I've played with her for a really long time, and we definitely play. I'd like to say we play the same style of softball. And so just aligning with her and having her help me has been a huge part of my success.
How cool is that too? She's a righty, she's an infielder, but you guys play a similar style of softball. That's so part of the mental game too, right? And she's just such a badass. Like she basically broke her
Uh,
face right this year making a play and then kept playing. That's like unbelievable.
yeah, she's so cool. So for those of you that don't know, we were playing the Spark in an exhibition game with Team USA, and we were up by like 7 or 8 runs. Like we were up by a lot of runs, and she's playing third base and goes into catch a foul ball, falls down the stairs, smashes her face, breaks her nose, so many stitches. Goes home, gets repaired up a little bit, and then goes to Italy a week later. So she's been outstanding, like the amount of toughness that she has shown, like and everybody knows that of her, like they knew that's what was going to happen. But yeah, super fortunate to like learn from her and play alongside her. She's so tough. She just makes everything look so easy and effortless, and she's just one of our game's best for sure.
I love that. She was on the show way back in the first season. And she's just
Mm.
such a favorite to watch. I did get to see her in person again at the last ever Pac-12 tournament
Mm.
this past season. And she's awesome. I think she, you, and there's definitely a core group of all of you in Athletes Unlimited. It just feels like it's always immaculate vibes in Rosemont. Is that actually the case?
Yeah, it's we have a good group of humans. Just a lot of like I laugh harder, I smile bigger when I'm here. It's just you're around a lot of really good people that make you laugh and make you feel on top of the world. I know that I feel like I'm my most confident self when I'm around these women because I feel like they pump me up. They make me feel like I can accomplish anything. When I came into the season, I was like, yeah, I'm hoping to be, top 10, top five. And then I get here and like these people are like, no, you're going to win this thing and you're going to do it. And it's like, that's really cool to have these women that believe in you, that are competing with you, alongside you, and against you, just of hyping you up and just really making you feel like you're worthy, like you're able to do these things. And that's really cool.
That's actually one of my favorite things about you as we've like gotten to know each other this year, honestly, is that I feel like you're such a hype woman, but you're also confident in yourself. You have like this amazing balance. You know that saying where people say a candle loses nothing by lighting another candle, right? I feel like you are such a good example of that. And maybe that's why AU is such a nice
Mm.
fit. But where do you think that comes from?
Oh, thank you. That means a lot to me. But I think that comes from my mom. It's always like there's enough room for everybody. We can compete to make each other better, but there's also room for both of us at the table. So, um, I've always wanted the best for all of my friends. And like just because I want the best for them doesn't diminish my opportunities. And I think that that's where we're at in our game right now, of like it's really cool to cheer each other on. And I want them to get the big sponsorship deals. I want them to do these things. I want everyone to get their own signature glove. Like just because she's getting a signature glove doesn't mean that that means I didn't get a signature glove. Like we can accomplish these things together to push for more. So there's more opportunities. I want her to get it, and I want her to sell out so that they know, like, okay, we shouldn't just have one softball player getting a signature glove. We want five softball players getting signature gloves, because all of them can do some really cool things. So I think it's all about just like widening it and showing that there's room for all of us, if you do it the right way. And we show that we're worth it, and that we're going to work for it, and it's going to be worth their while.
So well said. Also, with that being said, I feel like shout out to our girl Leslie Feldman too, because I'm actually
Yes.
wearing a Players Collective shirt today,
Oh,
also chatting
perfect.
with you. But just what she's done representing you, so many others in AU, and for women's sports in particular, like this is exactly what it's all about, you know? And so I think just seeing what you have done as a representative of Players Collective and your whole group is amazing.
Yeah, that's such a great point. I mean, I'm so fortunate to work with Leslie. I think she does such a great job of like always speaking for me and pushing for more. And when I say, okay, that sounds good, she's like, no, that doesn't sound good. We're gonna push for more. Like you deserve more. And it's really cool to have somebody on your side that knows where your value lies and pushes for more. She's like, we can get told no. We're not going to be complacent with things. And I'm like, yes, like, okay, I'm with you, Leslie. Like, let's roll. But just really awesome to know that there's this amazing person that has your back, that is working for you in conversations when you're not there.
Yeah, and I remember seeing all of your guys' merch at Mary Nutter, for example, too. Like Sis Bates merch. And I think you've even shared things about her merch and everyone shares about each other's too. And I just, that community feel, I feel like is just, it's a big deal because especially with women, when historically there have been just less opportunities, right? Like it can feel
Hmm.
competitive if we let it. But and
Sure.
you can still be competitive, but like there's a way to
Yeah.
do it together, like you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. I think like Sis is another great example of, I mean, coming out with her own cleat with Adidas. Like, how freaking cool is that? Like, amazing. Like, having it highlighted at the Little League World Series. Like, just so cool. Just because, like, Sis having that opportunity makes it possible for the rest of us to get our foot in the door. To show how it's going to sell out every time, and more kids are going to want different versions. So once they want different versions, we can get some other faces on there too. So but like that's another human that's just deserving of all the good things. Like, she's amazing. And it's just really cool just because she gets it. She's the reason for so much inspiration that goes on in our game. So just really cool. I'd love to see our sport continue to grow and brands noticing that and wanting to invest in us.
You said she could help everybody get their foot in the door with her cleats. I see what you did there. I like it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I like that. But also, like, this is exactly what I'm talking about too. You're like giving Hannah Flippin flowers, you're giving Leslie flowers, you're giving her your flowers to, or her flowers to Sis, right? Like what she deserves. I think that that seems to be a theme in AU, actually. Do you feel like that has played a part into how it's been kind of one of the more stable opportunities professionally for softball in recent years?
Yeah, I think that just their commitment to women in general of investing in professional opportunities for women has just been really, really cool. But yeah, we have a special group of humans in our league, and so that just means something where they're going to want to invest in us and people that want to invest in each other and that play a good brand of softball and all the things. But yeah, it's been really great to know that they're going to take care of us year after year, and that's not going to start lacking. Like, they're in it for the long haul and they want to invest in us. They want us to be great, and they want us to be consistent, us to keep having this opportunity year after year. And that speaks, the game's going to continue to get better once we have consistent opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said it, people are encouraging you, like, hey, you're at the top of the leaderboard coming into the last week here in Athletes Unlimited. From the mental side, we talked about this a lot in the college season, right? For all of these college players, like going into the World Series and like going on these big stages. But for you, now that you're back playing in your playing shoes and your cleats, I guess, this summer, what does that look like? Like, is there pressure? Is there inspiration? Like, where are the emotions?
Yeah, I think I'm really thankful. I'm like really like so thankful and excited to be in this position. It's really hard to be a position player and be a captain in general, let alone in the gold spot leading into week 5. So really thankful. I've been on a lot of really good teams that if I hadn't won as many innings and games that I've won, and not because of my heroes, but because of so many people around me, I would not be in this spot. So I think I'm just really thankful that I've been on the right team at the right time, many of the weeks. And then just like I feel like, it's what's going to happen. It's already written. It is what it is. And I'm going to do my best to create another environment for 3 games that others can thrive in, because just it doesn't matter who's just at the top. Like, every moment matters and every point matters. Where you are in the leaderboard is a dollar amount for every single one of us. So I just want to create an opportunity for everybody to thrive, to continue to move up the leaderboard for the last 3 games, but also just have a lot of fun and play free.
Spoken like a true leader. I like it.
Thanks, Jenna.
But again, we talk about that. We talked about it all spring, but you're in the position. I can talk about it all day long and I don't have to go out on the field, right? You're in the position where you do. Like, you are very much, still competing at the highest level that you can. So to actually see, people actually walk the walk like you're doing is kind of nice.
Yeah, you could say that. Like, I'm just really just having fun, truly. Like, I've really loved like putting together my own team. It's been really cool, and just like continuing to learn from others and learn what makes everyone tick and how to put them in the best position for them to be successful. So I've learned
Yeah.
a lot, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been really fun. Just, I've played this game for a long time and feel like I have a long ways to go too. But just to continue to learn and feel like the game is still re-energizing me and not feeling like a job just makes me really happy and really, really thankful.
Yeah. 100%. And we talked about it
Yeah.
at the top, like you going straight from the World Cup, competing in Italy, essentially going right to Athletes Unlimited and going to Chicago.
Yep.
I mean, what a whirlwind turnaround. How were your emotions
Yeah.
during that part of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was, a little mixed, right? Like being in Italy, I did not have my best swing and my best self, and didn't help us win as much as I would have loved to. So definitely was not in a great place in Italy of just like I was doing what I could, but just not getting the results that I wanted to. And then obviously with the silver medal, that's never Team USA's goal. We want gold every time, and I believe that we have the ability to win gold every time. So it's just about, managing those expectations of that's a little bit of a disappointment and then like realizing what can I do to get better. So then get here and a little bit more reps and more freeness and more time really just to be with people around me and get more swings and found my swing again, or I should just say the ball started dropping and I stopped hitting them to people. But yeah, so that it's been a lot, but it's been like a roller coaster of emotions of like training camp was amazing. It felt really good. I get to Italy and then my swing just felt like I was hitting it right at people and not able to help the team as much as I would have loved to. So to be back here and like actually feel like I'm contributing to some wins feels good for sure. But came into AU like saying, hey, I don't care what my personal performance is. I want to win every single game. I want to win every single inning. I want to win every game. And if I can help my team win every inning and game, even better. But I don't care. All I care is about those win points. And I think that that's helped a lot. Like if I'm going to bunt, I'm going to bunt, which I did once and that was great. But just like I want to worry about winning.
Yeah. You know what? This Team USA group this summer also felt like such a team-minded group. Like I know
Yeah.
the results aside, right? I know obviously you guys wanted gold and all that, but it really
Yeah.
seemed like you guys had a lot of great cohesion. Is that what you
Yeah.
experienced?
Yeah, absolutely. I think like, each year that I've been with Team USA, we've had minimal time. We have not had a bunch of time together. We've had like a small training camp leading into a big event. So, but this group was awesome. We had a really good blend of some veterans and some youngsters coming in, some newbies, and just getting a vibe. But everyone was so great. It's so much fun. And also, like, I just really miss that like team going for a championship, right? Like, so training camp was probably my favorite time of the whole year, just because you get to practice and have fun with your friends and work the same cut and relay that you want to, and like everybody's on the same page. So that was my favorite part of the summer, just to like get coached and do some cuts of relays and like really sweat at practice and like really work hard like that's so much fun to me. I love that part. But just to learn from others, like probably another highlight was like being with TRA Jennings and Maya Brady. And I was with them on the Batbusters for a while. They were pretty young when I was with the Batbusters, but just to see them like grown and with Team USA like makes me really proud. They're just really great humans, and I had so much fun around them just to learn from them and then just watch them in this space. Like I just want them to play this game forever because they're so good, and I think the world of them.
Yeah. I'm so glad you brought up the Batbusters actually, because I feel like it's so easy for us to, of course, we're going to talk about USA, we're going to talk about AU, we're going to talk about Florida even, but the development phase, like in your formative years, you've spoken really highly in general of your experience with the Batbusters. And, Mike Stith and Tim Walton have been two very impactful men in your journey
Mm-hmm.
as well during those formative years. So what do you think the biggest things that you learned were during that time?
Just how to work. We loved to practice, and we practiced hard every single time. We weren't allowed to take reps off. Not only did Coach Mike Stith demand that of us, but like we demanded that of each other. Like there was a standard when you were wearing that Batbusters t-shirt or wearing that jersey that we were going to win every time. There was never a question if we were going to win. We knew we were going to win, and we were going to win the day every single day. We were going to win practice. We were going to win every rep. And it was so infectious to be around that amount of greatness every single time. And just that accountability piece of like all the people were exactly like you, where there were no feelings hurt when you were holding people accountable. And we all knew like we were just going to continue to get better. And I don't really remember showcases being like showcases for us. Like
Mm.
we walked into those as like another game. Like can't wait to beat them. Like we wanted to kill every single team. Like we wanted as many runs as possible, and our pitchers didn't want to give up any runs. Like that's really cool just to have your foot on the gas the whole time. So I would say just like the competitive piece, but that's where I learned how to practice and how to fall in love with practice and love the process. So so many of my happiest memories with Batbusters were at practice.
See, this is exactly what young ones who are aspiring to do things like what you have done in your career want to know about, right? Because it's not just about like results, and it's what all goes into it, and like how did you develop as a person as well as a player. And
Hmm.
I know that you've always spoken really highly of your time at the Batbusters, and then you've always spoken really highly with your time at Florida too, which for a lot of people, colleges, that's the peak of their career, but you were kind of
Yeah.
just getting started. And then we got to talk with
Hmm.
Tim Walton and the whole Florida staff this year, which was amazing on the D1
Hmm.
softball podcast. And now you're playing with and against other former Gators. Like what a cool full circle experience for you.
Yeah, totally. Like taken so many like pockets of people and like learned so many things throughout the career. So it's really cool. Like I feel like AU is the perfect blend of like my travel ball self and my college softball self. Because I have my Florida Gator peeps and I have so many of my Batbuster peeps here too, like that we played together for so long. So it's really cool just to the people that have gotten me where I am now, like here in the same space is really cool. Like those are your people for life.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, even on the international stage, plenty of
Yep.
Batbusters and other
Yeah.
people. That's so cool. And I did see, this is when I dig deep. So I'm not stalking you, I swear. But
I love it.
on your USA softball bio, you said you've been dreaming about playing for Team USA, like wearing the red, white, and blue since you were 8. And you said, I used to chase down the greats such as Laura Berg, Jenny Finch, Jessica Mendoza, Caitlin Lowe, Natasha Watley, and Lisa Fernandez for their autographs. So, first of
Mhm.
all, same.
Yeah.
Like definitely chase them all down. But second of all, now that you're on the other side of that, like where you have little ones who are kind of chasing you down for the autographs, whether it's with USA or with AU, whatever platform it's with, how does that feel?
Yeah, I think like I definitely don't ever think of myself in the same realm as like those greats of people chasing them down. But regardless, I just think it's really cool. Like I will never forget the way that Jenny Finch made me feel like when I was standing in line for her autograph and just I felt like she took time with every single girl that was in her line and made them feel like they could accomplish anything that they wanted to. They could dream any dream and crush it. And so I remember feeling like she knew me and she'd remember me. Meanwhile, like she's signing 500 girls autographs and like that's how important she made me feel. I'm like, okay, if I saw her tomorrow, like she would know who I am. Like, and I would love to be that person for little ones as they come up for my autograph, like just making them feel like they could be in my shoes one day. I mean, I know that the way that Jenny treated me when I was that young did everything for me, like growing up and continuing to have that dream of playing for Team USA. So if I could even just do half of like what she did for me, then that's a win for me. That's really cool because this game has given me so much. So I'd love to give back in any way that I can.
That just fires me up because I feel like at the core of it, why all of us do what we do for the game in whatever form that takes, that's really what it's all about. Like what you just
Yeah.
described is really the core of everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really special. That's so, so cool. Oh my gosh. But now, even looking
Mm-hmm.
forward, we didn't have Paris 2024, obviously. Disappointed in that. Really happy to have the World Cup at least though this summer, right? For Team
Yeah.
USA and the international side. But when we look ahead to LA 2028, do you think we could see you trying to compete still?
Yeah. Yeah. I would love that. If you asked me now, like I would say like that's still such a huge goal of mine, is to compete on the Olympic stage for Team USA. been a goal of mine for forever. So I'd really love to accomplish that goal. But above all, like I'm going to do my best in my power to be there and be on that roster in 2028. But above all, I just want Team USA to have the best team possible that our country can have for 2028. If that means I'm on the team or off the team, because we're going to win gold in 2028, and I feel it in my bones. So whatever that looks like, that's what I want the roster to be. But I'd love if I am a part of it. But we have some work to do, but we have so much talent. And if we put the right group together and start getting to work, I think that we could accomplish something really special.
I love to hear that. I mean, if you'd have been like, I don't know, I'd have been like, yeah, you're gonna play. Like, come on.
Yeah. Well, but honestly, if anyone says, I don't know, good, bye.
Yeah,
Like,
true.
buy in. Like we say at AU all the time, like, buy in or retire. Like either you're bought in or you're retiring, like get out. So we say that all the time. Like you need to be all in. Like this stuff, I mean, it's amazing. We're getting better every single year, but it's not enough to like keep you around if you're not truly bought in. So we say it all the time, buy in or retire. So if you're not bought in, I don't want you in here.
Amazing. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely. And the
Yeah.
people that impressed me with that, it's like Megan Wiggins, for example, has been bought in this whole time. Like, wow, just
Mm-hmm.
incredible that
Never,
someone can do
never
that.
a question, never a question on Megan Wiggins' buy-in or Nadia Taylor's buy-in. They're always 100% bought in at all times. Just they love them so much. Can't say enough about what they mean to our game.
I mean, even just like I feel like it's one thing to hear like, okay, yeah, young girls are so excited about certain players, but to hear like you guys talk about each other as peers, I feel like is very telling as well. Like just the level of respect that is there.
Yeah, for sure. I think that especially in this space, because no coaches, right? It's just all of us and on their respective teams, but we're constantly learning from one another and cheering each other on. I think that that's really cool. Like just to have, especially these vets that I've looked up to for a long time that have been in the pro game way longer than I have, but just to get their support and like then in turn have them be my friends that I feel their support not only for the game of softball but outside the game of softball too is just really special for sure.
What do you think the key is to buying in, or what does buying in mean exactly? Right? Like, because it's just as mental as anything else, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think that, when we say buy-in, like during a softball game, like we're saying that like buy-in, like we're gonna be all in with doing this certain adjustment or this certain thing, like where we're like just doing something funky in the dugout to change the mojo. Like either you're bought into unbuttoning your jersey for a second, like for all of us to change the mojo, or you're not. So just little things like that. But I think like as far as like being a pro goes, like bought into taking care of yourself year round, buying into preparing yourself the best that you can to show up ready to go for season. We play softball for 5 weeks out of the year. Like that's
Yeah.
it. That's where our game's at right now. And so if you don't show up ready to go, like it shows pretty quickly. So what are you doing throughout the whole year? Like how are you buying in to make sure that you show up your best self, ready to compete and ready to go and ready to be where you want to be. So I think that goes for what are you doing outside of Rosemont? Like how are you preparing and buying in? I think it means something different for everybody because everybody is different. I think that's the best part about our game is we don't all need to be doing the same thing. What works for you might not work for me, and what works for me might not work for her. But just maximizing that and figuring out what it means to be a pro.
Yeah. I was very impressed during the spring when we would, try to schedule our podcast recordings or whatever. And you would be like, okay, well, I trained from this time to this time. And like, this is when I'm available. This is when I can't, like all these things. And I remember you would always be like, thank you so much for being flexible. I'm like, no, thank you for like buying in, basically. I guess that's what I was saying, thinking at the time, but maybe not how I like verbalized it. But I felt like, that's just like where the real magic happens, right? You don't, like you said, you don't just show up for 5 weeks and all of a sudden, like, yeah, I can just pick up where I I left off. It's like there's so much that goes into it before and after.
Yeah, I think like especially the last 2 years of for me, like making the jump. I'm not no longer coaching at Florida and like more just focused on, being a softball player and having my training be full time for me. So like buying into that like means I need to make it a priority. So like having my time to like be in the gym with my friends and getting to be as strong as I can be. Like that's important to me, and I know that that's made a difference in my game. So why won't I keep that a priority? So just having things like that to make sure, like if you're buying in and if that's your goal, then you need to keep it that way and keep up with it. So I've really tried the last 2 years, and it's been a lot of fun. And obviously, I'm still learning and still trying to perfect it, but it's been really awesome just to completely focus on getting as strong as I can, and put my body in the best place possible.
Hmm. Easier said than done, too, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's hard, but it's fun.
Yeah, which I guess, what did they say in A League of Their Own? Like, if it wasn't hard, everyone can do it. The hard is what
Period.
makes it great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There you go. One thing we've always talked about too is how excited you get about offense. Like every time we did a play of the week, for the most part, for our D1 softball podcast, I would pick like something defensive, you would pick something offensive because it just like fired you up so much. What do you think about offense specifically is what fires you up?
I think like just competing against the pitcher, it's so fun just to like feel like it's you versus someone else. And like I love the opportunity of like trying to beat her best stuff that day. Like that's a lot of fun for me. And then just like getting in the zone and feeling like the ball is slowing down when it comes in the zone, just when you're seeing the ball well. It's just I love hitting. I've always loved hitting. It's so much fun. I love learning from others. I love that you can have so many swings, but yet accomplish the same thing. People do things differently and achieve the same thing. So I think it's just a lot of fun. And I just love learning from others along the way too.
Yeah. So if you had a choice of either making a game saving diving catch or like a walk off hit, you're picking walk off like all day long.
Yeah, every time, every single time I choose a walk off, but like I wouldn't hate like a diving catch to save
Of
the game
course.
either. Like that sounds really cool too. But as long as honestly, just winning in general, love it. Sign me up. I love to win.
Of course. Duh.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you said, the win points too. Getting it
Mm-hmm.
done this
Mm-hmm.
year. I like that.
Yes.
And even talking about like your time at Florida, because I remember, I think I told you this too. Like I ran into just a fan who was at the World Series and she was like, I just started listening to the D1 softball podcast. And she was like, wait, are you the one who went to Stanford or the one who went to Florida? And I was like, I'm the Stanford one, Amanda. Yep, like that you got it right. But I just love like your pride again for where you kind of came from, right? Like the Batbusters we talked about a little bit, but I want to talk about Florida a little bit more too, because I feel like that was just, again, another formative experience for you.
Yeah, I think I had a lot of goals and dreams at Florida and what I thought was going to happen, but everything that I thought was going to happen, like it just blew me out of the water. I had the best experience of my life, and all of those people became my family. I think Gainesville, I love Gainesville so much. I love everyone in the athletic department. I just had the best time ever, like truly. So I'm just super prideful. Like I just love that I'm a part of that crew forever. Like I love, like I was the other day I was at lunch here in Rosemont and someone saw someone in a Gator shirt and I was like, go Gators. Like nothing like brings me more pride than like seeing Gators in public and yelling a go Gators. But that school, that university, that athletic department has done everything for me, to be in this seat today and just feel like I can accomplish anything. So I'm just so proud to have worn those colors. And obviously I think of myself as a Gator for life and the most proud alum to ever exist.
Yes. Well, that's the thing is you're such a fan of the program too.
Yeah.
Like when you were wearing the Skylar Wallace shirt like throughout the season and you're like in the locker room pumping them all up and stuff, like that part for me when I was a player, like those alumni interactions were like some of the best, most fond memories, that I had at least.
Oh yeah, I think like I'm for sure their biggest fan. Like I want them to think like wearing the jersey is as cool as I thought it was, or I think it is. Like I want them to be so prideful. I want them to know how special of a place it is. And then I just want them to accomplish everything and more that I had the opportunity to accomplish. I want them to win every single game. Whatever records I have, like they're meant to be broken. I hope someone comes in there and shatters them. Like I just want pure greatness for that program at all times. I just I'm always in, I don't care who they are. If I've never met them, like I'm in their corner. Like I saw, they just posted like freshmen or have arrived on campus. Like I cannot wait to connect with them. I can't wait to cheer them on. Like Can't wait to meet some of them I've met, but some I haven't. So just, yeah, you're right. Like I feel like the ultimate hype girl, like, and fan of them because yeah, it's so fun. Like, because I feel like I'm so invested, yet I'm not there every day and in the fight with them, but I am.
But they know you're there. You know what I mean?
I hope
Like,
so. That's
yeah.
cool.
It seems like they do. I don't know how they
Yeah,
couldn't.
I hope so.
But I love seeing you guys even in AU too. Like I remember the video they posted where you were like legging out a single, and I think Skylar Wallace was playing shortstop, Kelsey Stewart was playing first, and like there was this like, was she safe? Was she not? And you're like, I always think I'm safe. So, but I just loved like the banter between, the Gators. Cause like of course you're all Gators for life, but you're also like so competitive at the same time.
So competitive. Like I loved it. Like Skylar like screaming no, like absolutely disagreeing with the umpire's call. Like, but I love it. Like that's why I'm so happy she was a Gator and like that we connected on that level and like I love it. Like I want to beat her when I'm playing against her, but like no one is cheering for her harder than me when we're not playing against each other. Like I want all the good things for her. I think the world of her. It's been really cool to be in the same space as her. She's great. And then obviously Stuart, we've been in the same space for a while, but she's so competitive and there's no one that you hate to play against more than Kelsey Stewart. So and then no one that you love to play more, like like when she has your back, if something happens on the field, like Kelsey's the one that you want next to you. So that's been it's really fun just to and it switches right so quickly. So I love that we're so competitive, and then I could want to be on their team or be on their team a few days later, and everything would be good. Like it's all fun.
Yeah. What are your favorite parts or the most fun parts to you about softball? Like kind of a hard question, right? Because there's so many things, but if you had to choose.
Yeah, I think like the grind is so fun. Like I think back to like college of like those 6 a.m. run days of like you literally not thinking you're gonna make it through the run alive. And then like surviving and then being able to like go on the field and know like you and the people around you, you guys have been through some stuff and like you're battle tested and ready to go. Like the grind is so fun. Like looking back, like I would give anything like to go back to my team, like with my team and for a 6 a.m. run. And like that sounds wild to me now because it was like I would dread them. Like the night before, I would have so much anxiety, like not being able to fall asleep, but like so mental, like created like so much more mental toughness for me that like now I'm so mentally tough. Like I haven't run a 300 since my senior year of college. And I fully Bleav that I could run a 300 under our time that we had to make it in college. Like, haven't ran it, but I know I could do it. Like, because like that's just what it bred in me of like this toughness that I feel like I can accomplish things that maybe I totally can't, but I'm like bought in that I can. So I do miss the grind of like you being around the same group for a while. That's probably my favorite part. And then now it's just like good softball games where we execute and figure out a way to win when we don't have our best stuff. That's super fun. And then just like the laughs, like I love laughing. Like I love joking around with teammates and just having so much fun. Like today at practice, like Rachel Garcia's on my team this week, and we were telling Rachel the whole time, like, dang, Rachel, like we kept hearing everyone says like you have no power. Like you are just they keep saying you're not strong, like you. And she looks at us and she hits like three tanks off of the BP thrower today, like just huge home runs. And she's looking at us. She's like, "What'd you say about warning track power?" Like I just like love like laughing and goofing around with my teammates. Like that's so much fun and creates a really fun environment.
Roasting each other is the best. It's like, are you even real teammates if you don't roast each other a little bit, you
A
know?
100%. Yeah.
And I just love it's like you guys are literally the best in the world roasting each other, It's just the best.
Yeah.
The
It's
mic'd
it's
up
something to get by.
the mic'd up segments are the best with y'all. I can say that.
Yes. 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 Agreed.
No, that's really cool. And I think that the thing is that sometimes it's hard for us to just let ourselves have fun, as silly as that sounds. But I do feel like you can tell when someone is having fun and when they're not, when they're playing, or even when
Yeah.
they're practicing. Like you're saying, you learned how to practice earlier. I feel like it's just so evident with you. What did you do recently too? You like scored and you like ran into the umpire or something, and
Yeah, why
you're
was
like,
he in
I'm
my
safe.
way? Like that was that
That was
was
not on you.
literally crazy. No, that
No.
was not on me. I had to fall back so I didn't absolutely destroy him into the net. Like I was running so hard and it was wet that like
Oh,
I was not like I was planning on like going longer after home so that I could like slow down properly instead of like, because the turf was super wet, so I didn't want to slip. And then all of a sudden
Yeah.
he comes out of nowhere. I was like, oh my God, like I have to fall back or else this is gonna be bad. But it was so funny, like, and everybody like they helped me up. I was like, straight, like, yes, I made it. I was like was a little concerned that I was hurt there for a second. I was just like laughing so hard that that actually happened. But yeah, just finding joy in the little things and trying to have fun because the game's really hard. So if you don't celebrate the little things, like it's hard to find a lot to cheer about. So really just I want to celebrate the little things, especially in this league. It's really hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Like game of failure,
Yeah.
like we always talk about. So why make it
Yeah.
harder on ourselves, you know? But I just feel like you're a really good
Totally.
example of that balance of like, okay, I'm going to have fun, but you're also like very focused, right? And dedicated and like there are two sides to it for sure, but like anything else,
Totally.
balance. Yeah.
Yes. Balance is key.
Well, I know that we're finishing out the AU season, a big weekend coming up for you. But looking back on the year so far that you've had, because we would always do a win of the week and a whiff of the week for D1 Softball podcast, I would love to know what your win and whiff of this year have been for you so far. I mean, don't worry, I already know that your win is obviously like meeting me and we're co-hosts and all that stuff. That's fine. But like outside of that,
Yes. Amen.
outside.
My win of the season has been last week going 3-0, winning all the innings but one inning. We lost one inning on the whole weekend. So I don't know if any AU team has ever done that before. That was pretty iconic. Part of a really special group. So that was so much fun. I had a great time. The whole time it just felt like a championship style team and I had a blast. My whiff of the week or the whiff of the season was colliding with the umpire and going down. I think that was like a huge whiff and could have been bad. But yeah, both of those actually happened in the same weekend too. So both right there on a silver platter.
See, it's ebbs and flows, you know?
Yes, yes,
No, but I mean, if at least you're safe on your whiff, you know what I mean? That's your whiff, then you're
I
good.
know. Could have been worse.
Could have been way worse.
Hmm.
Well, I could, and we have before, but I could continue to just talk to you forever. But I know you have a lot of stuff going on. And thank you for, again, doing this in the middle of everything that's going on leading up to the end of this AU season for you, cheering you on. Um,
Thank you.
and just before I let you go, do a quick game that I do with everybody who comes on the show. It's not win and whiff, don't worry. It is called Safer Out. So basically, I'll bring up a topic. If you like it or you agree with it, you call it safe. If you don't, then you call it out.
Okay.
Okay. So the first one is, I think I could guess, but we'll tee it up. AU adding the AUSL to where it's the city-based, more traditional professional league coming with Athletes Unlimited. Safer out.
Safe. I can't wait to hear more. I don't know a bunch of details, but I can't wait to hear more. And the opportunity to grow our professional game is amazing. So safe.
Yeah. Well, when you were saying too, sometimes you miss the team aspect that you did get with
Totally.
USA. It's like that's really
Totally.
cool because you could get both. Yeah.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
Love that. Okay. That was the first one. Second one is video review for leaving early. Safer out.
Out.
We talked about this, right? This spring.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what? We can't be taking away home runs.
Totally. And again, I don't blame people for challenging it. I blame the system. I blame the rule. If it's there and it's going to break up momentum, I'm going to challenge it. I'm going to use it. But I'd rather that the system is flawed.
Yeah. I think we had maybe a whiff or two that had to do with that over the season.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
yep, fair. All right. Next one is conference realignment. Safer out.
Out.
It's here too. It's official. Like we're
It's
here in
here.
this next school year. Yeah.
It's here. We'll see how it is, but I don't love it.
Yeah. Yeah. An adjustment like anything else, I guess.
Totally.
um, last one is bat flips. Safer out.
Out for me personally. I'm not saying like I'm just not a bat flip girl. I also don't hit them far enough to ever be a bat flip girl. Not my style of softball, but to each their own.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's like celebrating, right? And then
Sure.
backflips are just a specific way of, so like I've seen you and a bunch of other people get like super fired up, going around the bases or whatever. Like that's one thing.
Yeah,
Batflips are like a very specific way of celebrating.
totally.
Yeah. Well, all very fair answers. I love how decisive you were too. Because some people are like, can I
Thank you.
get video review on that? Or, I don't
Yeah,
know. I appreciate
yeah,
that.
yeah, you got it.
Well, thank you again, Amanda. Again, good luck cheering you on this weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Maybe, knock on wood, talking to the next Athletes Unlimited champion. So we will see, but
Gosh,
best of luck no matter what.
thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks for having me, Jenna.
I was just so excited to have Amanda on. It's been a long time in the making, and she's just a gem. A true pro, too. Spending time with us in one of the biggest weeks of her career, that's big time. And I'm just sending her all the good vibes no matter what happens as she finishes up this season for Athletes Unlimited. So with that, let's transition to the foul tip of the week. This week's foul tip is about overcoming limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are things you believe about yourself that restrict you. You might think something is an absolute truth about yourself, but really it's actually not very accurate and mostly rooted in fear. And limiting beliefs are toxic and they just hold us back. And I feel like we've actually kind of hit on this with some guests recently. I mean, with Amanda, for example, she hadn't been an AU captain before. So what if she had put this belief on herself like, oh, maybe I'm just not good at the point system. Had she had that mindset, she wouldn't have been, at the top of the leaderboard for multiple weeks in a row like she has been. Jenny Finch talked about how a coach when she was younger told her wearing a ribbon in her hair is weak. She didn't just wear a ribbon and strike people out, like she said, but then she ended up selling sparkly headbands and pink softball gear and inspiring a whole generation. Sydney McKinney, before that, haters say mid-majors aren't as good as power programs. Well, she was the number one draft pick in what is currently, in terms of what is existing, the longest tenured pro softball league in the US. Most of the guests we've had on the show went through something at some point where if they had let arbitrary rules or limiting beliefs define them, they wouldn't be where they are. And they did it while being themselves. That's an important part too. I think limiting beliefs, they make us question ourselves. They're like false accusations that we make about ourselves. I mean, what a terrible feeling. And that just doesn't set anyone up for success. They say, there's that saying, shoot for the moon and you'll at least end up somewhere in the stars, right? But if we don't even believe that we can leave the ground in the first place, we're not going to get anywhere. So instead of questioning ourselves, why don't we question the limiting belief itself? It loses its power when we start to realize like, hey, that actually might not be true. And then we can all of a sudden start to replace those beliefs with new ones that actually serve us. So that's it. Overcome limiting beliefs. That's the foul tip of the week. You've been listening to Bleav in Softball, part of Bleav Network and presented by BetOnline. The show is available anywhere you get your podcasts, wherever you listen, including Bleav.com and YouTube too. Subscribe to the show, rate the show, and if you liked it, write a review. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Bleav in Softball. That's BLEAV. You can always reach out to me personally on Twitter at Jenna Becerra01 and Instagram at Jenna Becerra as well. As always, thank you for tuning in and catch you soon.